Nobody in the room expected fireworks that morning. It was supposed to be a routine congressional hearing on artificial intelligence, ethics, and online speech. But the second Elon Musk took his seat across from Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett, the air changed. The cameras zoomed in. The silence had weight. Every journalist, every political commentator, every tech enthusiast watching live knew something big was about to unfold. Musk leaned back in his chair, confident, amused, even a little smug. He had been here before, interviews, debates, panels, always walking away with the upper hand. But today, he wasn't facing a tech journalist or a corporate board member. He was facing Jasmine Crockett. Crockett's reputation preceded her, sharp, unflinching, known for cutting through political theater with pure logic. She had one of those presences that made even the boldest speakers second-guess their next sentence. The chair recognized her. "Congresswoman Crockett, you have 5 minutes." She glanced down at her notes, then up at Musk. "Mr. Musk," she began, her tone calm, "you've spoken often about freedom of speech as the cornerstone of your platform, correct?" Elon smirked slightly. "Yes, Congresswoman, I think speech should be as free as possible. It's fundamental to democracy." "Fundamental to democracy," she repeated, as if testing the weight of his words. "And yet, your company has suspended journalists, researchers, and even your own users for criticizing you. Would you consider that free speech?" Elon's expression hardened. Those were cases of misinformation. People spreading false narratives can damage the public's trust. It's not about silencing, it's about accuracy. Crockett tilted her head. "Accuracy, interesting." She leaned slightly forward. "So who decides what's accurate, Mr. Musk? You?" A ripple went through the audience. Musk blinked, his composure flickering for the briefest second. "I don't personally moderate content," he said carefully. "There are teams." Crockett cut in, voice steady but commanding. "Teams you hired, policies you approved, algorithms you control. It seems like your definition of free speech is free for you, but not for anyone who disagrees." There was a pause, long enough that even the camera operators stopped moving. Then Musk chuckled softly. "Congresswoman, I think you misunderstand how complex social platforms are. If you truly believe freedom of speech means chaos, then—" "Chaos," she interrupted again. "You mean accountability." Musk's jaw tensed. Crockett didn't look away. "You've banned journalists for reporting on your companies. You've blocked critics, including elected officials, for questioning your transparency. Tell me, is that chaos or control?" The crowd murmured again. Even the moderator shifted uneasily. Elon leaned closer to the microphone. "Congresswoman, I believe in dialogue, but there's a line between freedom and slander. I've been personally attacked. My companies have been targeted." "And you've used your platforms to silence those attacks," Crockett said, finishing his sentence for him. "Convenient, isn't it?" The camera panned in on Musk's face, that tiny flash of frustration breaking through his practiced composure. Crockett continued, voice firm but calm. "You speak about democracy, Mr. Musk, yet you act like a monarch of speech. When you own the microphone, you decide who gets to talk. That's not democracy, that's dictatorship." The room went completely silent. Even Musk's usual smirk disappeared. But Crockett wasn't done. She flipped a page on her notepad. "You once tweeted, and I quote, 'Sunlight is the best disinfectant.' Do you remember that?" Elon nodded slowly. "Yes." "Good," she said. "Then let's shine some sunlight." She pressed a small button on her tablet. The big monitor behind her flickered, showing a screenshot from the social platform formerly known as Twitter. It was a tweet from a journalist named Rachel Levinson, posted just 2 hours before the hearing. The tweet read, "Reporting today on Elon Musk's AI oversight meetings. Strange how the man who says he supports free speech keeps deleting critical threads." Right underneath, a system message in gray text. "This tweet is no longer available. The account has been suspended." Gasps filled the room. Crockett didn't smile. She didn't need to. "This was removed while you were sitting here," she said quietly. So, Mr. Musk, how much freedom do you believe in when criticism disappears in real time? Musk's mouth opened slightly, then closed again. The camera zoomed in on his eyes, searching for a response that wouldn't come. Crockett continued, her tone unshaken. You say you're defending democracy, but democracy doesn't vanish when it becomes inconvenient. It doesn't delete dissent. It debates it. That's the difference between power and principle. The room was utterly still, the kind of silence that feels like gravity. Then, as if realizing the moment was slipping away from him, Elon leaned forward. Congresswoman, that's an isolated error. The system. Crockett interrupted for the final time. Freedom of speech, Mr. Musk, she said softly, not freedom from accountability. And with that, her time expired. The moderator's gavel struck once. The hearing continued, but nobody heard the next question. Everyone was still processing what they had just witnessed. Within hours, that 5-minute exchange had flooded every corner of the internet. Clips of Jasmine Crockett's calm dismantling of Elon Musk spread like wildfire, TikTok edits, reaction videos, Twitter threads, and YouTube uploads. Each one with millions of views, each one with the same caption. She ended him with one question. Cable news picked it up next. CNN replayed the moment on loop. MSNBC called it the congressional mic drop of the decade. Even conservative networks, hesitant at first, couldn't ignore the sheer virality of it. The phrase freedom of speech, not freedom from accountability, began trending worldwide. Merch popped up overnight. Hashtags like Crockett vs. Musk, Elon exposed, and accountability gate surged to the top of every platform. Meanwhile, Musk's camp scrambled. His public relations team tried to frame it as a misunderstanding. A spokesperson released a statement claiming the suspended account was an automated moderation issue, not a direct order from Musk. But screenshots told another story. Journalists, emboldened by Crockett's confrontation, started sharing their own experiences. Emails showing direct pressure from Musk's team to take down posts or modify headlines critical of him. And then, an anonymous insider from X leaked internal logs, revealing that yes, the Rachel Levinson account had been manually flagged under a new media sensitivity rule, one approved by Musk himself 2 days earlier. The internet erupted again. Musk went live on his own platform that evening, trying to regain control of the narrative. His tone was firm, his expression unshaken, but his eyes betrayed fatigue. I believe in open dialogue, he said to nearly 10 million viewers. But that doesn't mean I'll allow misinformation to spread unchecked. Congresswoman Crockett misrepresented what happened today. But the comments under his own broadcast told a different story. You literally suspended her example live on camera. Freedom of speech, Elon, remember. Crockett cooked you in 4K. Every few seconds, the chat filled with laughing emojis and the now iconic phrase. One question. Crockett, on the other hand, didn't tweet, didn't gloat, didn't post a thing. Instead, she issued a short written statement. Power should never be allergic to truth. My job is to ask questions, especially the uncomfortable ones. That restraint only fueled the narrative further. She became a symbol overnight, not just for her supporters, but for anyone who felt silenced, censored, or powerless online. By the next morning, talk shows were dissecting her composure, analysts were debating Musk's credibility, and a few senators quietly admitted they were surprised she didn't go harder. But Crockett's focus wasn't on virality, it was on impact. Behind closed doors, she was already drafting a bill, the Digital Accountability Act, proposing transparency and algorithmic moderation, and the right to appeal bans on major social platforms. When the news broke that she was turning the moment into legislation, even her critics had to pause. Musk's defenders tried again to spin it. They argued she was politicizing technology, that she didn't understand the complexity of content moderation. But her next public statement hit harder than anyone expected. At a follow-up press briefing, She stood before a crowd of reporters and said calmly, "When people say I don't understand technology, they forget that technology isn't the problem, people in power are. Algorithms don't write bias. Humans do." The room applauded. Clips of that line, "Algorithms don't write bias. Humans do," went viral too. It became part of the larger cultural conversation about tech responsibility and democracy. And then came the twist no one expected. 3 days later, a whistleblower from one of Musk's AI subsidiaries leaked a chain of internal memos. They revealed secret collaborations between Musk's companies and certain government contractors, partnerships that contradicted his public claims of independence from political influence. The documents even included his personal approval signature. Cable news flashed breaking banners. Commentators called it Crockett's domino effect. Her one question had started an avalanche. Elon Musk's legal team released another statement within hours, this time much shorter. "We are reviewing internal policies and will cooperate fully with oversight requests." That phrasing, "oversight requests," told everyone what they needed to know. Congress was officially opening an inquiry. And leading that inquiry, Jasmine Crockett, the same woman Musk had tried to corner in a 5-minute hearing, was now holding the microphone, the votes, and the moral upper hand. Part 3, the fallout and legacy. By week's end, the internet had chosen its narrative. Edits of Crockett and Musk's exchange were being set to music, animated into memes, and analyzed by political YouTubers and late-night comedians alike. Trevor Noah joked, "You know you lost when your opponent doesn't even need to raise her voice." Saturday Night Live did a skit where a fake Musk tried to explain free speech to a refrigerator that refused to listen. But beyond the jokes, there was something deeper happening. For the first time in years, Americans were seriously talking about digital accountability, not in vague terms, but with real examples, real urgency. Crockett's moment had reignited the debate over how much power billionaires should have over public discourse. And quietly, behind the scenes, lobbyists began shifting. Companies that once aligned with Musk started reaching out to Crockett's team, not out of principle, but survival. The hearing that began as just another performance of political theater had evolved into a cultural reckoning. Weeks later, during a follow-up committee meeting, Crockett was asked by a reporter if she ever expected her confrontation with Musk to go this far. She smiled faintly and said, "I didn't expect anything. I just asked the right question at the right time." The footage of that quote was shared millions of times, stitched into compilations, reaction videos, and even university lectures about power, truth, and digital ethics. And somewhere, in the quiet of a boardroom lit by LED screens, Elon Musk stared at the replay, her words echoing louder each time. "Freedom of speech, Mr. Musk, not freedom from accountability." He didn't respond, he didn't post. For once, the man who built empires on tweets had nothing left to say.